Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Basketball Bulletin. Decided to do a little live show today. My buddy Donnie Freeman will be along in just a moment. As we get into this, we're going to talk about some of the early trade candidates around the NBA. We've got an update on the LeBron James situation. What are the Lakers going to do without him? We won't spend the entire time talking about that, of course. We'll be taking your questions and comments coming in from the chat. Happy to see you all here on a Friday afternoon as it is here. Happy to see you all here. Let's talk some basketball. It is preseason time. Lots of games going on around the NBA, which is certainly exciting. You can't wait for the action to officially start up in a week and a half. Let me remind everybody, if you have not subscribed to the Basketball Bulletin yet over on YouTube, we're covering the entire NBA, breaking down all the latest news. Had a video out earlier today about Russell Westbrook and what going over to China might look like there for him. That's apparently where we're at with Russ. You guys can check that one out. But again, make sure you do hit the subscribe button over here on the Basketball Bulletin YouTube channel. Turn on those notifications as well. Green light, my buddy, how you doing? Said, is Luka playing on Sunday night? We don't know that yet. We should get a better indication tomorrow. The Lakers do practice tomorrow, and we should get a better sense. JJ may still not reveal that information, but we should have a better idea of whether or not Luka Doncic will be available. How much of the practice does he take part in? I know tomorrow is also going to be an important date for Marcus Smart because he did practice in full yesterday. The team has today off. Tomorrow, they will get to revisit with him and see how did your body respond to the full practice on Thursday, and then that will determine his availability for Sunday as well. But Luka could potentially play. You know, I spoke to my sources with the Lakers yesterday, and I was told Luka's not hurt. There's nothing going on there. Luka's not hurt. This is just the reason why he's not been available. It's just been what we planned for training camp, and that was it. So it's not like he is nursing some injury that they would hold him out for. So there is the possibility that we see Luka Doncic play on Sunday. Will I be live on Lakers Nation tonight as well? I won't, but I do have a video in the can for Lakers Nation that will be, I'm tweaking a couple more things, but that'll be out in just a bit. And there's also another one that I already put out earlier today. So plenty of stuff still over there for Lakers Nation, but I've been live a lot today. I was just live with Jovan a little bit ago. Keith and I did our live show for Front Office Show. I'm gonna take the evening off here if after this, if that's okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about, because I know we're going to get plenty of Lakers questions and comments. The Knicks, their reported offer for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is this a crazy offer for the Knicks? Because I'm hearing a lot from the Knicks side, like we want to be, if we trade for Giannis, we want to be really careful about trading for Giannis because we could actually trade for Giannis and make our team worse if we trade certain guys away. So let's take a look at this. The Knicks will not consider trading Jalen Brunson. Well, okay, not a surprise. He's their guy. He is the soul of that team. Not a surprise that they would not trade Jalen Brunson. However, Brunson may be untouchable, but there's other guys who wouldn't be, like potentially OG Anunoby, like potentially somebody like a Karl Anthony Towns. Could it be Mikal Bridges, someone like that? There is some conversation about how here the Knicks likely built their trade offer to the Bucks around Towns, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson. Mikal Bridges is ineligible to be traded in August, could be traded as part of their next conversations. Yeah, so an interesting part here. And I saw some conversation that in the piece from Sam Amick of The Athletic that, well, the Knicks, they really should have done the Mikal Bridges extension sooner. That way he would have been trade eligible. He is not trade eligible till February 1st. And so that means there's a 5-day window for Mikal Bridges to actually be traded. They've got a 5-day window if they're going to use him in a Giannis trade. And would have to imagine that if you're the Bucks and you're going to do anything with the Knicks, Mikal Bridges would probably have to be involved, even if it's not to actually go to the Bucks. He could be routed to a third team and then have picks and things like that going back. But the Knicks are trying to be careful that they don't give up everything. Bridges, Anunoby, Cat, and you get back like Towns and Kuzma or something. The money doesn't work on that, but something like that. And the next thing you know, your team is basically Jalen Brunson, Mitch Robinson, and OG and Giannis, and that's like your squad. You don't want that if you're the Knicks. So there's already this bit of a pushback, and I think this is from the Knicks side, a response to the sentiment out there that the Knicks blew it, that the Knicks, when they had those one-to-one closed discussions, closed negotiations with the Bucks for Giannis, that they didn't get a deal done. There was a lot of criticism out there for the Knicks. Hey, you missed your opportunity. This was your chance. The Lakers had it with the Mavs and Luka. They got the job done. Why did you not get this done and get Giannis? And I think part of it is they don't have a lot of future draft capital, or any really, to offer. They also couldn't package Mikal Bridges in a trade, but now they're kind of pushing back to saying, well, yeah, Giannis is great, but we really believe in our group. We believe we have a title contending team right now. By the way, they are not the favorites to come out of the East. They are right behind the Cavs, though. Minus 250, the Cavs to win the East. Minus 275, the Knicks to win the East. So the Knicks are pointing at that saying, hey, we're still pretty good. We're still pretty damn good, even without Giannis. We think we can win as is. We don't need Giannis to go win a championship this year. We want to give this group a shot. And on top of that, we're concerned, hey, we push all the chips in. We go all in to go get Giannis. Not only can we make ourselves worse, but we can take that chance away. So the Knicks are kind of putting that out there in the wind, I think, to combat this idea that the Knicks messed up by not sealing the deal and finding a way to get a deal done, because now it's going to be open to everybody. Now, if and when Giannis come December or January, whenever, says, I want out, maybe it's next summer, every team in the NBA is going to be bidding on him. All right, joining me, Donnie Freeman. Donnie, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. You?
I'm doing well. You know, this has been live a few times already today, but excited to get into some NBA stuff here with you. We were just talking about the Knicks reported offer or rumored offer, and it would have been something built around Cat, OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson. Those are the pieces left they have to trade. Would that, let's say the Knicks gave up all that, and it was a combination of, let's say it was Giannis and like Kuzma or something coming back. Are the Knicks a better team?
Yeah, because they got Giannis.
So Anunoby gone, Cat gone, Mitch Robinson gone. I mean, then you've got problems at the center spot. But let's say you keep Mitch Robinson and it's somebody else that gets put in.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, if you give up OG and Cat, are you better?
Yeah, you get Giannis.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand the alternative though. Like
it really may be that simple.
No, I get the alternative though, because that's a lot of talent going out between two bodies as opposed to just one. And if it's like, it's the constant, like, do you want to break a dollar into, some quarters? In this case, maybe it's 2 50-cent pieces. Like what do you want to do here with that? Like, you're getting the best player in this, and Giannis hasn't been bulletproof the last few years. He's missed some games, and if he goes down, then there's also that. And certainly if you move out Mitch, then there's certainly also another problem that you have. The spacing problem and concerns pop in. Like, I get why maybe you can make an alternative argument, but I just think that if you get the best player overall, then,
So if you are, let me ask you this then. Is there anything, Jalen Brunson is off the table. Is there anything the Knicks could give that would make them worse? Because that's what they're putting out there. Is that just PR? Is that just spin? Is there anything they could put together that would make them worse if they got Giannis?
Oh, aside from giving up Jalen? Probably.
Yeah, Brunson off the table. You can't trade him.
No, probably not. I mean, like I said, I get the spin though. Like it's two bodies as opposed to one, two all-star level players or so. Like I like those guys a lot. So I get the logic, and they're also already pretty top heavy. So that's another concern here. But again, you're eating Giannis. And so I would just have to say that in a playoff situation with him and Jalen, you're going to be better when things kind of crunch down a bit, minutes wise, rotation wise, and all that. And so I don't know that there's anything else you could put on the table. Like, you could, in theory, try to put in Bridges, but I know that he can't be traded because
not till February
there's like
first.
It's like a 5-day window or something like that where he can be traded. So like, you could maybe try to wait until then and try to put him into the deal and keep OG, depending on what you prefer, things like that. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think so.
But it's interesting hearing that from the Knicks side, that, well, we want to be, I think Ian Begley had some of this. We want to be careful. We really believe in our group, all this. And this is the kind of stuff you should be putting out there. I just don't know if I totally buy it. I'm more with you.
I get it.
Like if they have a chance to get, and I think it will take Bridges being available, but if they have a chance to get him, I think they need to.
And I think we didn't talk enough about the Kuz piece. If I'm Knicks, I don't really want Kuz. Maybe
No.
there's a better
He's salary
player.
ballast that you're just taking back. He's like Maxi Kleba, right? The Lakers didn't want necessarily Maxi being in it was value to the Mavs in the Luka deal. That's what Kuzma would
exactly.
be in this.
But my point is in that like you may want a better shooter back because you're giving up a good bit of shooting there.
Sure.
Maybe you want to get a big back because you will have concerns because you're giving up a couple of bigs, like that type of thing. But yeah, Kuzma is certainly just to fill in the salary, of course. But,
if you are the Knicks, you're saying no, I don't want Kyle Kuzma. Give me Bobby Portis.
Yeah, like something
100%.
like that. Like that you want to maybe shore up any potential deficiencies you could create. And in this situation, like the Bucks would be making a player trade. So I don't know that they'd want to give up Portis, but if they got back those bigs, there may be a bit of a minutes crunch for the bigs. So maybe they'd be more willing to give up Portis in that situation. I think there's a lot of different ways you could tackle this.
All right. Kenneth says Giannis, Miles, Kuz for Miles Turner. They're going to turn around and trade him. Miles Kuz for Towns, OG, Bridges. Who says no? I think that's too much for the Bucks to give up. You know what I mean? Like if I'm the Knicks and I'm getting Miles Turner as well, I'm getting Giannis and Miles Turner. I'm doing that.
So like I just spent a while talking about like what's better. Like I think the Bucks can make an argument they'd get better off this trade.
Yeah, they would be deeper.
But see, that's the alternative. It's like, do you want to have everything in one player, or do you want three really good players? Right? Like that's so. I think you can make the argument, and that's just
NBA
because
history tells you want the one player. You want the best player.
You want the one guy.
Yeah.
And even if they are better, it would be like just in the regular season. I don't think they'd have a higher playoff ceiling or anything like that. But yeah, I think this is not a trade that goes down. So playing devil's advocate, of course.
All right, let's get into one of our super chat questions here. Appreciate the super chat, by the way, guys. This is obviously our channel. We really just got this going, about a year ago here, where we've been loving the growth that we've seen here. But this is 100% ours. Do you think Luka plays on Sunday and on the 17th? So, in terms of the Lakers and their schedule, let's take a quick peek at that. Sunday, could Luka play? Yeah, he hasn't been practicing lately. So, I mean, he's been doing individual stuff. Could he play Sunday against the Warriors? He could. I assume we will see him one of the two games that are back-to-back, which why there's a back-to-back in preseason, I have no idea. But I would assume we'll see him one of those two games and maybe do what most guys, but Golden State's been doing this, right? Play their guys the first half and then play their bench the second half. I could see the Lakers doing something like that, but I think it would require Luka getting in some type of practice on Saturday, tomorrow, before they would play him on Sunday. And then as far as the 17th, I think it really comes down to what is the dress rehearsal for the Lakers. Typically, NBA teams take at least one game and they make it if not a full dress rehearsal, meaning you play your normal rotation for the entire game, you do it through three quarters. And so if they make that Dallas game on ESPN the dress rehearsal, then maybe they sit guys for the 17th against Sacramento. It could go the other way around as well. But I think one of those two games will be the dress rehearsal, will be the everybody plays normal rotation for probably three quarters. And then that's going to be our game plan going into opening night.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, let's go here. Greenlight says, with LeBron being out, we will know if Austin Reeves and Luka are a good match or not. Yeah, absolutely. I know Austin Reeves is a good player, but does Austin have what it takes to be a great second player? Does Austin Reeves have the Scottie Pippen DNA? That is, Donnie, I haven't talked to you a lot about the LeBron injury, but that is part of the silver lining of this. And there's a few silver linings we can talk about. Does this mean LeBron has essentially a truncated season? And therefore, is he more energized come April because he's only been playing for a few months at that point? Maybe it's a reach because you never want a guy to be injured. But one of the other silver linings of this is we get to find out what does post LeBron life look like, and can Austin be that guy? There will be no question going into next summer's contract negotiations with Austin Reeves, what his actual value is to this team, particularly if LeBron is not around.
Yeah, and frankly, I think he'll be fine because we've seen Austin in that role when it was LeBron or an AD. You know, when the guys were out, Austin would move up a slot and he would perform fine. And we've seen Austin as the lone guy, and he put up what 40 points, 45 points on a team that finished second last year. Like, I think he'll be fine with that, and I'm not so worried about it. I think when it comes to Luka, is like, I think Austin checks a lot of the boxes you'd need from a secondary guy behind Luka with the way Luka plays. It's just, is Austin going to do the other small things? You know, he's going to be able to knock down the jump shot consistently when Luka kicks it to him when they're out there together. And can he run the offense for the 10 to 15 minutes Luka isn't in the game, right? Like, and I think that he can do that perfectly fine. So I think he'll be all right with that. And, you know, on the LeBron thing, I got to say, like, we haven't talked about it since we got this. Firstly, there was a thing a few minutes ago from Shams where LeBron actually got this injury in July.
Yeah, in fact, I just recorded something on that. That's why I was a little late getting on here. I recorded something on that for Lakers Nation. We'll go out in a little bit. But yeah, he's been dealing with it since the end of July or beginning of August.
That was what I was going to say. I had been meaning to bring this up to you even before that. So my wife deals with something similar.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you, man, she's been dealing with it for a long time. Now she's lagged with like getting treatment for it, but the key thing is it doesn't just go away. You need to actually actively be working on it if you've got a more intense version of it. And also sometimes she just gets fully like bedridden. Like when it hits, it starts, like, you start feeling it, you're not able to really do anything. You feel it all the way down your leg. It doesn't, like, your leg may feel just like it's not even there, fully numb. Like it hurts a lot. So I wonder about that with him.
Do you think this could be a factor in LeBron ultimately deciding to hang him up?
Oh yeah, well, he's starting to get more of these like injuries that he's never really had before. Even at the end of last season, he had a MCL sprain or something like that. Like, he's starting to get more of these. Certainly over the last handful of years with the groin, the ankle, he's starting to really pile these up. And the one thing I'll say about sciatica, my wife is not old. She's not old, but it is typically common in older people, right? So now that he's starting to experience it, he's probably going to continue to experience it every so often. So I do wonder about that. But I mean, he is going to hang it up regardless over the next year or two at worst, right? So I don't think that really changes this timeline all too much, but it's more about how much can he actually be out there and play with that.
I've said that I want LeBron, whenever he retires, if it's this year, if it's next year, whenever it is, for him to play his final games as a Laker. I want him to retire as a Laker. Talking to Keith Smith earlier today on the front office show, he said he's now leaning towards LeBron, plays this season with the Lakers, and then finishes his career in Cleveland, goes and signs with them for a year to go close things out where it started. Where are you at with this now? Do you think LeBron finishes his career as a Laker? And if not, where does he finish his career?
I'll answer that, and I'll tie that into this. Why would he retire if he was just second team All NBA? Because he's old. You got to realize he is 41. This is his 23rd year. He's been in the NBA for more than half of his life. At what point does the body, and he's made like 8 consecutive final runs, all these other things, played Olympics. At what point does the body say this is enough for LeBron? Right. Firstly, and secondly, at what point does the mental say this is enough? I'm tired of this. And that is something he said himself, is that when he no longer feels like mentally he wants to keep up with the grind it takes, then he'll hang him up. And who knows when that is? Because again, he's been at it for quite a while. That's the most important thing, is the resilience mentally from him to say, year in and year out, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to be out here. I'm going to work on my game in the offseason. I think that is the most important thing, and why he would finally decide to hang it up, because that's why a lot of guys hang it up, even if they could keep playing another couple years. And also with him, he's also said in the past, like, if he is somebody that is not himself, he's not going to play anymore. Like, if he has to be a 10 to 12 point per game guy, playing 20 minutes and that, like, he's not going to take that route like some other older players have in the past. So.
I mean, it was a week and a half ago, I guess now, on media day, He sure didn't sound like anybody who was eager to hang him up. I mean, he talked
Yeah,
about how
he's
much he
not. I
loves the
don't think
process.
so.
I wonder, though, now that we know he's been dealing with since the end of July, and Sean's reported he hasn't been on the basketball court since like sometime in August. He's talking about how much he loves the process and how much he loves the, the preparation and all that. I wonder if part of that was he's missing that because he hasn't gotten to do it apparently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe he's reflecting on it. It's like he's like looking at it like, man, I wish I could have.
I wish I could train right now. You know?
Yeah, like, and that's another thing too, is like for his ramp up period, like how out of shape like will he be? Not like he's gonna get fat, but he's not going to be in game shape with his cardio. Like because he's not able to really do much. So I do wonder about that. But yeah, so back to your initial question, because we went off on a tangent there. I think Keith's opinion is the popular opinion. That's one that's been floating around for quite a while, is that that's a possibility. I mean, firstly, I don't know how he gets there unless he takes a substantial pay cut, in which case maybe he just prefers to stay in LA where his family is and everything like that. It's really just storybook going back to Cleveland. I think he could get a send-off anywhere he goes, frankly. And the easiest thing to do at that point, if you're going to take a pay cut, is probably to just stay with the Lakers. Maybe he has a better shot coming through the East to win a title. I don't know. It depends on how the Cavs finish, but who even knows if they even want him back next season? I don't know. Anyway, I think the most likely outcome is still for him to just retire a Laker, whether that's this season. Who knows what happens throughout this year? Maybe at some point he hits like, I know we've been sitting on he would announce it beforehand, but what if he just wakes up one day in like December and is like, you know what? This is my last season.
I just don't want to do this anymore. Sure.
Know? Like that's a possibility. Like I know we're possible. Like, he wants the farewell. We know he's LeBron and blah blah blah. He'll say it beforehand, but I agree with that. But like anything is possible, right? So I still think him finishing in LA is most likely.
Sometimes you do that, man. You just wake up one day and you're like, this just feels right. You know what I mean? So that's certainly possible.
Think he's had that before. He's been saying that for a while. He's like, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know when the end is, but I know it's close. That tells me he's already thinking about it.
Oh, right? He's definitely thinking about it.
He said Savannah only wants him to play 1 or 2 more years. Like all these other it's coming, man. It's coming.
Hell, I mean, I'm thinking about it. I mean, a lot of people think about it. I mean, I'm older than LeBron, but a lot of people think about it. Hey, what's this going to be like? Regular said, according to Wendy, LeBron dealt with this in Cleveland and took shots for it. Well, that actually almost makes me feel a little bit better, because at least he's not venturing into unknown territory. Like he knows how to deal with it. Then, if that's the case,
I don't want to say that's good, but yeah.
No. It's not good. It's not good. But I think it could be better in the sense that he, that he's dealt with it before. He has experience. As a new subscriber, welcome in again. If you haven't done so yet, you're watching over here on the YouTube channel, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Great way to help out the channel. We certainly appreciate all of you. Let's go here to the super chat. MJ said, Lakers always swing big. Would y'all be okay if they acquired Giannis via? Well, yes, I'd be okay if they acquired Giannis via trade.
I don't think I'd have any objections.
But it meant a season or two to build a roster with Giannis Luka duo. I mean, is Giannis, if you could pick anyone in the NBA right now to fit with Luka, would Giannis be the top of the list?
He's certainly up there. I think Wemby is at the top of my list, but
Wemby, okay. That's a good point.
But he's up there. He's for sure up there. There's even some lesser guys that I really think could pair really well. Like a guy like JJJ, I think would fit really great with Luka. There's some lesser guys that I think would be really good, but Giannis is certainly up there. My only concern is if you have to take a couple seasons, or how long is the runway? The
structure around them.
Yeah, like how long is the runway at that point? Looking at Giannis at about 33, like I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It just depends on how he ages when he's not able to get that step on people anymore. Sure. I wonder about that. But certainly for now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. Now, that said, do the Lakers have assets to go get Giannis? No. They do not have. The Bucks could just say, hey, who wants Giannis? And the Lakers offer would be immediately obliterated.
Yeah.
They just don't have the assets. Now, if Giannis said, I only want to be a Laker, okay, that could definitely help. We saw it with Anthony Davis. I still think they're short on assets, though. Now, even maybe next summer they could put together 3 first-round picks they could put together next summer, then maybe it becomes a little more interesting. But then you already don't have Austin Reeves. You have to assume they would want Reeves in the deal. You don't have him under contract at that point. Then you're talking a signage. It just gets very muddy. The waters do.
They still gave up quite a lot for AD.
They did. I mean, that was remember that's a haul, folks.
Yeah, that's a lot that they still
remember
gave
the
up.
Conversation. Everybody, the Lakers haters victory lapping and saying the Lakers lost the trade and all that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Until they won a championship the very first season.
That was the thing.
Yeah, but even with him saying I only want to go here, they still got so much. Like, and the thing with that is that they could have waited another season and got him without giving that stuff up if he was serious about what he was saying.
Yeah.
So, there's that. But do you want to waste a year of LeBron right there?
They tried that with Paul George, though. Remember that? They tried it with Paul George, and then he got pissed off.
He was mad they didn't trade for him.
He was mad they didn't trade for him because they knew they were going to get him in free agency. Yeah. So then he was mad. So he didn't wind up going to the Lakers because they didn't go and get him when they could have, because they didn't want to give up. I think it was Lonzo plus the pick or something like that in order to get him. Something like that.
Yeah.
Go get DeRozan. Said no team ever.
Why you say it like he's garbage?
No, it's okay. Like I like DeMar DeRozan, but like I just said, right? I'm assuming this is Lakers here, but for whatever team, what team right now, especially like if you're the Lakers, DeMar DeRozan doesn't fit what you need at all.
Yeah,
like he's the opposite of fit. He's a very good player. He may be. I think there's an argument for DeMar DeRozan to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that DeMar DeRozan is a bad basketball player. He's a difficult fit these days. And I was just talking about this on the Russell Westbrook video we did earlier, that every player hits a point where the juice is not worth the squeeze. And I think that DeMar DeRozan may be getting closer to that point. Still a very good player, but somebody you have to very consciously assemble a roster, a lineup around on the court in order to hide any weaknesses that he's got. And I think that's the opposite of what the Lakers need. The Lakers need a guy they can just plug and play. Mm-hmm. DeMar DeRozan is not that. DeMar DeRozan is a guy you put on the team that can give you 25 points at any given night. He's still a very, very talented player, but you have to be very careful about the pieces you put around him.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I just think that the floor is higher with him than somebody like a Russ, just because he's not as volatile. And he does have an elite skill, which is his mid-range shooting still. He's still able to get to that spot and pull up and make that shot at an elite clip. So that hasn't really fallen off despite him being in his mid-30s.
He'll be doing that when he's in his mid-50s.
Like that's an elite skill. So like he's one of the best in the NBA at that still. So like I do think that maybe there's a little bit more there. But yeah, if he's asking for 20 million plus, then I would kind of balk at that. But I do wonder about if it is worth it, like you were saying. But I just thought it was funny because you were like, oh, no team ever. This made it sound like he's the worst thing ever.
I was exaggerating there. But DeRozan is an instant 20 plus off the bench. I think if you were the Lakers, I don't think you could have DeRozan and Rui Hachimura on the same team.
Yeah, I don't know if I love him on the Lakers specifically.
Yeah, there could be other teams. And as Josh notes, DeRozan won't want to play off the bench, though. Yeah. When you're a guy who can go out there and still drop 25, it's not the easiest thing to transition to a bench role. And I think we saw that with Russell Westbrook. We've seen that through a number of guys, Carmelo Anthony, Allen Iverson, over the years. It's tough for these guys to do that, to make that shift. And especially DeRozan starting his career as a 2 and now sliding down so far that he's really more of a 4.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a great fit there. I'm sure there are teams that where DeMar DeRozan could fit, but I don't imagine that the Sacramento Kings will get much value at all back for DeRozan in a trade right now. Well, I can't imagine his trade value is high.
No, I don't think teams are actively pursuing DeRozan. I just meant, in the context of him being a free agent or something like that. But yeah, I do wonder if he'd be more willing to come off the bench if you told him you put him in a featured role, put the ball in his hands as the primary guy, for 10 minutes a night, 15 minutes a night off the bench. Mm-hmm. And then also, if this is the big thing, he's on a team that's got 2 other forwards that are clearly better than him. It's kind of hard to say, oh, I should be starting, when I've got that on this team. So that's a lot of, boxes to check though. So
One other thing that I wanted to get into, we'll get back to some of our super chat questions and questions in just a moment. But one of the other things I want to talk about on the show was potential trade candidates. Since we're talking DeMar DeRozan, I do think Sacramento should trade DeMar DeRozan. I do think Sacramento should trade Sabonis. You trade him?
Sacramento, they should trade everybody.
I mean, let me ask you this: can you build a Western Conference playoff team with Zach LaVine and Sabonis being your two best players?
Playoff team? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. Because I think that's all it takes for Sacramento. But in order to do that, you have to have the right pieces around them. Yep. And I don't think DeRozan is the right fit around them. Dennis Schroeder, fine. If you can move Malik Monk, great. Do not move Keon Ellis, Sacramento. Do not move him.
Yeah. Keon can stay. He could fit. One of Schroeder and Monk can also stay and fit. I'd probably keep Schroeder because he's more scrappy. That's where that came from.
Scrappy Schroeder equals Schroeder.
Yeah, I'd probably keep him because of that. That's not to say Malik can't ball or anything like that, but I think what you need is like 3 more Derek Joneses on that roster. Like you need those types of guys, like hyper athletic, switchy wings. They maybe if they can shoot, but if they can't shoot, that's fine. You can play those guys. Maybe like a Vando type, that type of player. You need like 3 or 4 of those. And you really want a power forward that's a good interior defender. So that way Sabonis doesn't have to guard the primary like centers and get lit up. Mm-hmm. So I think you really want that.
So some other potential trade candidates here, guys who are not going to come to terms on extensions. Walker Kessler, we've talked about him not coming to terms on an extension with the Utah Jazz. Unfortunately, will hit the wasteland of restricted free agency next summer. We see how difficult that was this year for Jonathan Kuminga, a number of players, right, that we've talked about all summer. But Walker Kessler will hit restricted free agency, but the fact that he didn't come to terms on an extension has people questioning, could he be available as a trade target? We had this is our guy Jake Fisher writing that the Lakers have had interest in Kessler in the past. Phoenix had interest in Kessler. Now Phoenix has got 1 billion centers at this point, so I don't see them having interest again. The Lakers have Ayton, but that's a name to keep an eye on. And another Jazz player being Lauri Markkanen as somebody who could potentially be on the move. But Jake characterized the Jazz as being a team that is, in terms of Markkanen, like they're not trying to trade him, but if you'll offer something, they'll listen. And that's kind of the Jazz's, that's Danny Ainge's MO in general, right? He'll listen on anybody. But I do wonder if it's in the best interest of the Jazz to move on from both Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen this season.
Yeah, you avoid having to pay Kessler. But like I've said before, I think in the past that like it's kind of hard to find a Kessler with what he's specifically good at. I think he could be a part of your core and you can have him be your center of the future, right? Like you don't need to get rid of him unless you just really don't want to pay him, which we'll see because the market's going to be really bad next summer because of the way this summer went. It's going to be the exact same thing for him. They're going to wait until the very last minute to extend him probably, unless they come to a good team-friendly contract. And then on the topic of Markkanen, I think, with how good he played this summer, if he goes out there and looks great to start the season, you should try to flip him by the deadline, sell high. If he's injured and not looking good, maybe you still need to get rid of him just to start slotting things a little bit better, get a little bit of assets back, but maybe you're just better off waiting and to try again the following season. I think he's one of those guys that's on the fringe. He's just a tick too old, about 28 years old, to be a part of what I think their next build will be for the long term. And I think he's a guy that could net them assets. Like I think he's a legitimate like 2A type guy on a roster that could be really good.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think would make a lot of sense for them to move at this point. If they can get him to bounce back this season.
Yeah.
And we'll see. He already
had a down year last year, so I would imagine that he's better than he was last year.
Ace Bailey already looked great in his one preseason game, so maybe things will be on the rise in the Jazz. But I do think he's a guy who could very well be on the move. The Jazz, a team to keep an eye on early. It's possible they just decide, and I agree with you that Walker Kessler can be a foundation piece, not as we're building around this guy, but this is part of our future. Particularly with his rim protection ability. But if they decide, hey, the market says that Walker Kessler is going to get $25 million a year next season, and the Jazz decide we don't want to be the team to pay him that. Okay, then you need to trade him. Then trade him now.
You need to trade him
and avoid all the restricted free agency nonsense if you don't want him anyway. We saw what it did to Golden State was very fortunate that Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton, all these other guys were willing to wait. I don't see free agents waiting for the Jazz if they wind up in a tough spot with Walker Kessler. So unless they decide, hey, we are really good with, if they decide we don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract, they need to trade him. Do not go into the summer in a situation where Walker Kessler is sitting out there in restricted free agency, and that's preventing you. Now, the Golden State Warriors were in a bit of a unique situation in regards to the hard cap, but still, if that is in any way preventing you from making other moves, I don't think Utah wants to be in that spot next summer.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right place to be overall. And I mean, maybe they'll decide they don't want to pay him. And I know that they want to see what they have with some of their other guys like Filipowski. Maybe they come to a decision that they fit better with some of those other guys being parts of their core around Bailey, assuming Bailey is who we think he could be. But, I think that with him specifically, I think they've got a few options. It's probably best to try to move on from him now. And lastly, like I said, maybe they decide they don't want to pay him. But at the same time, I mean, even if it's 25, the cap keeps going up. That's not going to be very much. And you're ideally getting rid of, in this situation, Markkanen. You're going to need to put that money somewhere. I still don't see that as a, full reason to try to get rid of him personally.
Oh, yeah. I would, if I was the Jazz, I would keep him.
Yeah. I think you can make strong arguments to keep him. I think you can make a few to get rid of him, depending on what you think your team will be like or what your timeline is. Maybe they're projecting to be bad for another 5 years, at which point then maybe just move him now. So I don't know.
Right.
But I think they need to
move.
But
if you're going to be bad for 5 years, then move Lowry
everybody. Too. Yeah, everybody. Aside from Ace, just move everybody. You could maybe keep some of the other young guys, but for sure.
I mean, if Bailey's going to shoot 6 for 11 every single night, or no, what was it? 11 for 16. Sorry, 11 for 16 every day. Like you've got. I mean, the second best player in the draft at that point. If Ace Bailey is going to be what we saw so far in preseason, so maybe you just say, hey, this resets our timeline even further. This is Ace's world. We're all just living in it now. Everything's coming up Aces, but we're going to wind up.
Ironic, also with the whole saga around him.
And then you go and you move on from Markkanen and these other guys, and you say, we're not doing this 2 timeline thing. It's Ace's team. Let's go.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. I guess we just need to see what their overall direction is.
All right, let me get into some of our super chats here. Of course, there's going to be teams around the league that, as the season gets going, we're going to continue to monitor. But the Chicago Bulls are certainly one of them. They're a team that's been very active. In fact, could be another landing spot for Jonathan Kuminga. They've had interest in him in the past, but I don't like this one, Donnie. Laker target no one's talking about is Patrick Williams, solid defender, 3-point shooter, $18 million a year is not horrible. Could recoup value like KCP. I don't like this one because how long this deal goes. I think he's a negative value on his contract. Could he get better? Yes, and you know what? Maybe it's a very Lakers style contract because there's that player option at the end of it. But
Lakers
I don't. I like that. I like that he's 24. Yeah. But I think if I'm going to give up what I would have to give up in order to get, if I'm going to take on this kind of money, when I say give up, I mean give up optionality, our favorite word, right, for the future. I need to know this is the dude that I want starting for the next 5 years, right? I need to know that. And I don't feel like we necessarily know that with Patrick Williams just yet.
Yeah, he's had a couple of solid seasons where he really showed, at least percentage-wise, he could hit the 3 and be a solid 3-point shooter. But he's had a few seasons that have been mostly erased by injury. So that's another thing to be concerned about. But he's had a couple seasons that are really good otherwise. So I don't know. It's kind of up and down. But is he not just the type – this is also on the table. He could be another guy like Portis, for example, where you get him in a winning situation, or maybe even PJ Washington a couple years ago from Charlotte, where you get him in a winning situation and all of a sudden he looks worth that, that could be the thing with him. I don't know. You'd have to get him there and see.
Yeah. I'm not that high on that.
Yeah, you'd have to take the gamble for sure, which it basically tells you it would never happen because the Lakers don't take gambles.
I mean, they do sometimes. They gamble. I was gonna say they took a big gamble on a guy named Russell Westbrook.
I mean, let's unpack that really quick. Russ was great the year prior. Like, I don't know that was a humongous gamble, but
Washington. The gamble was does he fit?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but that is the question. There is they knew statistically anyway. I mean, you could argue however you want to about Russ's output of stats, but whatever. They knew anyway what he was, but the fit is the problem. But then they're like, oh well, yeah, it could be a little clunky, but Russ could win us some games when one of these guys are out. He could handle the ball when these guys aren't in the game. He could set up AD when he's out there with them. So I mean, I think the logic you could unpack in multiple ways, but I could see it.
I understand the logic, but it definitely didn't work.
Oh, no, that's a whole different thing. It didn't work.
Brady says Trevor's trying to talk a Kessler trade into existence for the Lakers. Well, the problem with the Russ thing was historically you win with LeBron by surrounding him with the guys who can defend and shoot.
But they also looked at LeBron. They also looked at LeBron and said, oh, well, he won 2 championships playing alongside another all-star guard that could shoot. Same deficiencies. No, that couldn't shoot in D Wade.
Okay,
I guess D Wade is a better shooter though. So
that's the thing. He's a better shooter than Russ was. Trevor's trying to talk a Kessler trade into existence for the Lakers. Man, I mean, I gotta say this. If DeAndre said you're getting angry Ayton, imagine the angry Ayton you would get if the Lakers then traded for Walker Kessler and you bumped Ayton out of the starting job. That would not go well.
Hey, that's the one thing. Like, it sounds nice on paper, but I don't think either of these guys would want to come off the bench behind each other, and that could create a problem. Maybe I was gonna say Laurie, but maybe Walker is more okay with it. But I know for a fact, Ayton, basically in a contract year, he's gonna go out there and try to show his best. And he's not at a stage in his career where he's okay doing that, like Dwight was, back in 2020. It's not the same circumstance.
G-Dog said Rob Pelinka will not trade Reeves to improve this team. It's so annoying.
What is improve? What is improve, and who is that for?
Yeah, who's that player that he can trade him for? Yeah. You're telling me there's a trade available right now they could trade him for, and that would improve the team? What is it?
Yeah.
Who are you getting?
I think improve is subjective because, like, in what facet? Like, what are they getting back that's better?
Right.
Maybe the argument is for improve. That is why I said subjective. It's that it slots everyone better. Maybe it's a player that fits better, But other than that, I don't know what they're getting. Where they're getting a all-star adjacent guy that's going to put a 25-5 for $14 million. I don't.
That's just it. I've said for the whole summer they need to be more open-minded about moving on from Austin Reeves, just because of the contract situation. Because of that, you have to be. But if you're going to trade him, you have to get the guy. You have to get the guy that you want to put next to Luka for the next 5 years. And right now, that's not an option.
Yeah, I think because he's on such a small salary, he's still, at least this last season, one of the best contracts in the NBA, considering he's going to more than double his salary. And then it's going to look more normal, right? But he's putting out that production on a 14, 15, whatever it is, $1 million deal. And he's far exceeding that production wise. Similarly, though, I was going to say on Walker, I would try to trade him before the contract balloons. And if I'm trying to trade for Reeves, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to trade him before the contract balloons also. Because if you're worried, if
you're worried he's going to get paid, it's the same thing with Kessler. If you don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract, you need to move him. If Reeves is traded, it should be a two-way wing. Absolutely, agree 100%. Who is it?
Who is that guy?
Who are you getting? You're not getting Mikal Bridges for him. You're not going to get those high level two-way. You're not getting Amen Thompson. You're not getting Oscar Thompson.
The best name is probably one of those Pelican wings.
You're not trading him for Andrew Wiggins, for 31-year-old Andrew Wiggins.
No, it's probably one of those Pelicans wings, but I don't think they trade them either.
PJ Washington wouldn't trade it for. Yeah, I mean Trey Murphy. Herb Jones, the Lakers wouldn't do that.
I don't
I
think
like
they would
Herb
do
Jones,
that.
but he's got a long injury history.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, you're just not going to get, if that guy is as good as we want him to be to replace Reeves's production, then they're not on the market because every team wants that player.
Right. If the Bucks blow it up, you like the Lakers to go for a guy like Bobby Portis. He's 30 years old in his prime and fits a need, plays defense and offense. Yeah, this is he's 30 in his prime and needs to fit a Lakers need, plays defense and offense. I like Bobby Portis. I just don't know, like, if the Bucks were to blow it up, I think the Bucks are going to be very reluctant to blow it up because they just accepted what everybody thought was going to be unacceptable in 5 years of $22.5 million dead money on their books in the form of Damian Lillard. I mean, nobody would have imagined that the Bucks would have done that. It's the largest wave and stretch we've ever seen in the NBA, and for good reason. So that doesn't scream team that wants to blow it up. They did it all to go, they're going to drop $100 million and get zero out of Damian Lillard so they can drop $100 million on Miles Turner. They did it so they can get Miles Turner. That's not a team necessarily looking to blow it up. I do wonder if they trade Giannis, are they going to look to actually add pieces to help them win right now? Because they're like, forget it. We're committed. Give us Cat and OG and off we go, or give us Cat and Bridges or something. And we'll roll with that. I don't know. Maybe that's the path that the Bucks ultimately go down, because otherwise that dead money sitting on their books certainly hurts their efforts to rebuild. If they were to say, okay, we're going to go down that path, we're going to blow it up, give us future assets and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, guy like Bobby Portis would be a real nice fit, just as a versatile big for sure.
I think you could also make the argument, like I did the other day in the video, that the dead cap isn't as big of a problem if you're projecting to be bad for like 5 years and just cycling young guys you're testing out. Like I don't see that as a huge negative, because you can't do anything else anyway. Like it hurts to be paying somebody that's not on your roster $20 million regardless for ownership.
I mean, ideally, if you're really in a rebuild, ideally you want to be able to take that $20 million and say, hey, who's got some bad contracts? We'll take your bad contract for a year or two, give us some more first round capital, and that's how you stockpile. It's what the Brooklyn Nets are doing, right? Yeah. Like that's your scenario. So that's where you're limited. Like, what could you do with that 20 plus million renting it out? What kind of assets could you get for that?
Would you be better off then at that point, as opposed to, because you could get back assets anyway if you're rebuilding, you're selling off these guys. You sell off Turner in this theory, you'd sell off Portis in this theory, you'd get assets regardless, and you'd be able to take back some salary for teams too in that situation, regardless of that money being on the books. So would the argument then be, are you better off trying to stay competitive and just being a middle of the road Eastern team for the next handful of years while you wait for that money to fall off? Or are you better off just getting what you can now while you have these players and restarting this anyway? Like, I think you could swing it either way personally.
Yeah. The Bucks could go a number of directions there. And I still think you probably want to tear it down, but
yeah,
I mean, you got to get a ton back for Giannis, and then I don't know.
That's where, like,
I could see them though.
That's where they in theory opening conversations will get them so much more. For example, let's be honest, if Nico was willing to open negotiations, they could have got a haul back for Luka. And that says nothing about AD's quality, but they could have got back 5, 6, 7 draft picks and really started a rebuild, but they didn't want to do that, right? They could have got some players that could have kept them competitive, but they would have got more than one pick and Anthony Davis, in aggregate.
Sure.
Again, and I think AD is great. I think he's underrated in talks about all this stuff, but they could have got more overall raw assets. On the AR thing, I want to say really quick, the chat threw a few names in. Just gonna rapid fire here. Haywood Highsmith. Dyson Daniels. Got salary dumped. They're not doing that. The Hawks aren't doing that either, I don't think. Dante Exum. Sign and trade Keon Ellis. Do you see how much they don't like
Keon Ellis?
I love
Keon. I've been saying for months, years that the Kings need more Keon Ellises, but man, that's underrated.
They said Haywood Highsmith. Like, it's get him out of here.
Oh my God.
They don't like it. Jalen Suggs,
Highsmith just got salary dumped.
Yeah. Alexander Walker and Jalen Suggs. These guys aren't.
See, like, that's actually an interesting one, right? Like when we talk Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Like that's actually an interesting. You can make an argument for it. I don't know that Orlando does it, but that's actually an interesting one.
I think you can make an argument Orlando should do it.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's the point, right? You want to see something you could at least make an argument for either side.
Yeah.
You can't make an argument on Haywood Highsmith. By the way, our editor reached out to me, said, so will you guys touch upon the new high five rule where you can't touch a player after their shot's already in the air? Yeah, the Steph Curry rule, basically. They didn't like that defenders were being allowed to make contact with shooters, not just while they're releasing the ball, but now after they're releasing the ball. And so now the high five thing is going to be gone, where you can't touch a player's hand even after they shoot. I don't know, Donnie, one of my pet peeves in the NBA is players who, as part of their jump shot motion, now fall down. I call it the Jay Crowder. It is now part of their routine when taking a jump shot. If there is any defender anywhere near them, they fall down because they're trying to get that whistle. Their legs tend to go out a little bit extra when they lean back to fall as well. My fear is that we're going to see more of that with this rule. More players hitting the ground while shooting or after shooting a jump shot because, oh no, the defender looked at me.
Yeah. You saying Jay Crowder just gave me PTSD, dude. Something about him really pissed me off. Every time he would shoot the ball, it's like he is just trying to fall over. And it's like a part of his normal motion. It is just so absurd that he does that. So, yeah, I don't want to see more of that. But I think that the high five thing, they're probably changing it because players have really started to try to exploit that. Like they now are contesting with the sole purpose of landing that as well.
Of high-fiving them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as a form of like, oh, I'm knocking the shooter a little bit. So maybe I'll high-five them a little early, dislodge their shot or so. Like, like they're doing that intentionally. Mm-hmm. It's normally supposed to be more of like a fallback thing. So maybe that's why they're changing it. I think with that, like it's a little weird. You don't want to see like so many rule changes. Like, I don't know that this is something we absolutely needed. And I certainly don't want to see people start trying to find another way to game the system, but I can see why maybe they would think this would be a solid rule change with that in mind.
James Harden will be even more insufferable with that new rule. Yeah, Harden's another one that likes to fall down when shooting.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys do that. Like they just instinctively do it now because it's been so popularized over the last decade or so, just falling down when you shoot these shots.
Jimmy Butler is another one. He gets the highest percentage of his points from the free throw line of any NBA player. Jimmy Butler does it though with crafty pump fakes mostly. Yeah, he's not as bad about it. Jimmy Butler, the difference between Jimmy Butler and James Harden is vast when it comes to how shameless they are with their foul grifting. Let's just say that.
So is Austin Reeves. He's pretty shameless.
Oh, Austin can be too. Yep. But Luka can do it for sure. These are guys that absolutely create content. By no means am I trying to say, Lakers players are blameless or whatever. That's the other thing, Donnie. What's funny is I've noticed the belief that if you cover a team that has a player that does something, you are not allowed to say anything about another team that has a player that does something. So for example, right, I mentioned I put together the ages, how many players over 30 the Clippers and the Warriors had. And I had a bunch of Clippers fans and Warriors fans in my mentions. You've got LeBron. What are you talking about? Does that make the ages of the Clippers or the Warriors not true, not facts? Those are true things. It's okay, right? We could talk about Austin Reeves foul grifting and still be annoyed when James Harden does it. It's okay, even if a guy does something on one team. It doesn't eliminate the people who cover or are fans of that team from talking about players on other teams who do those sorts of things too, right? We can acknowledge what players on their own team do and talk about what other teams do as well. You're not disqualified from that conversation.
It's pretty standard. With what we do here, we're always uploading videos around the NBA and stuff like that. And I'll see comments where it's like, oh yeah, you guys just have this and that, so you need to worry about your own team, this and that. Like it's like, well, okay, well, you could be right or wrong, but that doesn't mean anybody else can't talk about your team.
Sure.
This is like the whole thing is like you're talking about the NBA at large, right? I think some people may view it as like hypocritical talking about other stuff when you have other stuff that's more closer to home that you could be talking about instead. And maybe that's why people don't like it, but that's just the culture around this now overall.
Here's what people don't understand is we covered the NBA, right? We covered the NBA at large. Is our background Lakers? Yes. Do I work for a company that covers the Lakers? Yes. Right. That's a thing. I grew up as a Lakers fan. All of that. That's always. I would never hide that. I've never tried to. I've always explained that I've got that bias that's just inherent within me. But a lot of the guys who grew up, like Zach Lowe, is a Celtics fan. Kevin O'Connor, Celtics fan. Keith Smith, Celtics fan. Right? Like all these guys. Everybody had. You look at Sam Amick. You know, why does he talk about the Kings so much? Well, he grew up around he lives around the Kings. Right? Chris Haynes lives in Northern California. Right? These guys all have teams. Even if we look at them, oh no, this guy's a national guy. You can talk about whatever team you want. Well, these guys grew up fans of certain teams, and it's not reasonable to expect them not to do that, right? So even we look at us and you say, oh, well, you guys are Lakers guys, therefore it's hypocritical if you talk about anybody else. Everybody has a team that they followed. Even the guys that turned in their fan card and said, oh no, I cover the NBA now. There will always still be that background with a particular team, because that's only natural. Yeah,
and so they haven't actually turned their fan card in. They're still rooting for their favorite teams.
Yeah, probably.
They have to try not to be as.
It's
biased.
The whole don't cheer in the press box type thing.
Yeah.
You know,
they have to try to be less biased, but they're still rooting for their team.
All right, we got a few more super chats we're going to get to, and we will get to them. Be right back in 30 seconds. We'll be back.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code BULLETIN. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
All right, we'll finish off with a few super chat questions. Just wanted to pay some bills there. Lowry or Sabonis would be a nice LeBron replacement. And by the way, the link to the two sleepers in the description. Yeah, I mean, my only concern is I really want, in a post LeBron world, whoever will be the second guy with Luka, I would ideally like to see defense be a plus. But those are two very good players. And I think either guy would be a good complement to Luka, certainly a good complement to Luka on the offensive end. And then could you construct a roster around them to work? Yes, I think that you could.
Where is Austin in this equation?
It's green light. So my guess is he is on the moon. Austin has been catapulted into the solar system.
I ask because I wouldn't want to have a non-defender like these guys alongside those other two being the
correct. I think that's a great point. Like if Austin Reeves is part of the future here, or if you're trading Austin to get one of these guys, perhaps
that's different.
But if you're not and Austin is still on the team, it would be a pretty difficult fit, I think.
Yeah, you would actually have a lower defensive floor than you do currently. So
yeah. Dalton Connect for Cam Whitmore. Spot Track says yes. Wouldn't that be ironic?
Yeah, certainly. Certainly.
The guy they passed, the guy who fell in the draft that the Lakers passed up, trading the guy who fell in the draft that they didn't pass up the next year to go get him.
Who is he with? The Rockets?
No, he is now.
Oh, he got traded. That's right. He got traded.
In fact, I think they cut him. Did they cut him or trade him?
No, I'm pretty sure they traded him early in the
offseason. They did.
I just don't know what the heck for. It's been a while. But yeah, in Washington, I don't know that they would do that. They want to see what they got with them.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's do a couple more. Oh, who's more likely to get traded, Rui or Austin Reeves? I would say Rui. I think the Lakers are more committed long-term to Austin than Rui.
I think they like both of those guys.
And they do like them both.
I think they really like Rui also. Like we know that they like AR, but I think they really like Rui just organizationally. So I do wonder if either of these guys even gets traded.
Yeah. They may not. I mean, especially now, with no LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, Rui is now, I think, more valuable to the Lakers than ever before, right? He's going to start. I would assume he's going to start at power forward.
Yeah, for sure. Now, all of a sudden, with LeBron no longer in the mix, you don't have that same slotting issue. You can plug in somebody else now. You could leave Rui in that spot. You could put Vando beside him. You could put Smart in there if you want. Like, you could do a number of different things.
Yeah, I happened to do a who should the Lakers start reel just a little bit ago. In fact, I'm going to publish it across social and when we wrap up here. But so I had Rui Hachimura's stats from last season available. When Rui was a power forward, this was the opposite the year before, but last season as a power forward, Rui was a plus 7.5. Yeah. And as a small forward, he's just a plus 0.6. I do think that Rui's natural position is now power forward.
Yeah. You'd have to look at these and compare it to LeBron's, because I'm sure that there's probably some reporting for the two because they are interchangeable in these spots. So
I'm sure that does happen.
But I also wouldn't want to look at LeBron's last year numbers because I know that that's like a huge outlier. So, well, maybe it is.
People jump on, he's a negative.
But I don't know. But that's the first time in his career. But I don't know. He's also year 23 for the first time in his career. I don't know.
That's right. He was in that. Whitmore was in that 7-team trade.
Oh, that's
Lakers were part of that too.
That's right. Yeah.
I was so busy with everybody mad at me because I read between the lines and deduced that it was the Adu Thero trade.
Yeah.
And everybody was mad at me, even though I ended up being right, but people were mad at me because they wanted to hear that the Lakers were getting something via trade that we didn't already know was on the team.
Yeah, they just folded a bunch of transactions into one, and it wasn't really like a whole thing. They just put them all together.
It was almost like they were all in Vegas or something, getting ready for Summer League, go out for drinks one night and just went, hey guys, wouldn't this be cool just to see if we could do it?
7 at once, record.
A bunch of GMs.
Yeah, they just wanted to have that happen and show it off a little bit. I wanted to ask you while you're on the Rui thing, what were so you talk a lot about like and we talked a little bit, alluded to anyway, about LeBron's numbers last season, but what is Rui's lineup data with Austin and AR on the floor? Because we know those two are great, but what if you extend it out to Rui instead of LeBron?
Well, we can find that out actually.
I bet that was also a big plus too.
Let's take a look. So we want to see LeBron off the floor, Rui, Austin, and Luka on.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it'll take a second here to load. It always does.
Sure, DFS is in the most used lineup though.
Yeah, I believe he is. From off the top of my head from looking at this. But all right, here we go. So Reeves, Luka, and Rui all on the floor. Reeves and Luka together with LeBron off was like a plus 18.8. Let's see what it comes out to. Only 131 possessions, but oh my God. Plus 27.4.
I knew it.
Good Lord. But you're right. Dorian Finney-Smith is slotted in. Look at this. It's Rui at the 5.
Well, it's really DFS at the 5.
I guess it's really DFS. But still, there's no big. That's the point.
Yeah.
With a big, minus 11.8. But 17 possessions. I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah.
This is beyond a small sample. Like, we can't take anything really, I think, away from that. It's way too small of a sample size.
Way too small. Yeah. Luka was missing games at that time. I don't know. But yeah, I knew it would be a big positive, but I wonder about that. Do we have playoffs in here as well, or is this just regular season?
It's just regular season.
Yeah, I guess the playoff numbers would be bad anyway.
Yeah, they would be. They would be.
But that's another thing to kind of look at. I think these three guys fit fine. You just would ideally like to have two defensive players alongside him.
Yeah. You're
going to have Ayton out there as well. And if he's committed to helping protect the rim like he says he is, then that would help, of course, as well. So
we'll see. Angry Ayton.
Kessler trade angry.
Oh, God. He would not be happy. He would not be happy. All right. Everybody, again, I'll say one more time. Please make sure that you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already here in the Basketball Bulletin. We do cover, I know we did wind up talking a lot of Lakers here. Maybe not a surprise, but we wind up talking a lot of Lakers here. But we do cover the entire NBA. We break down everything going on around the league. Each day we've got new stories coming out. talking about all the ramifications of each thing happening. I have a story earlier today about Russell Westbrook potentially going to China, what that would mean for him, what that could mean in terms of him maybe returning to the NBA at some point, maybe waiting on a certain team to have the ability to sign him, all that kind of stuff. Stories like that we have out here on the channel every single day. So make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We really do appreciate it. Downey, this is fun. We gotta make this at the very least a weekly thing where we go live.
Yeah, we'll figure out something so we could just get that set up so we can have Bulletin Wednesdays or Bulletin Mondays.
There you go. I wish there was a like basketball bulletin. I settled on that name because of alliteration, but there is no B day of the week.
Yeah.
Bulletin batter day. I don't know. It just doesn't work. Cheese said people constantly talk about the Giannis trade from the Knicks perspective, but not the Bucks perspective. The Bucks perspective is they prefer not to trade him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's it. Now, that said, if they do decide to trade him, I think they can get a lot. And the question is, do they want future assets or do they want win now pieces? Because they've got the dead money on their books. They've got Miles Turner, all of that. But from the Bucks perspective, man, if I'm Milwaukee and I finally just bite the bullet, rip the Band-Aid off and say, okay, we're going to trade him, put out there to the whole league, say, everybody send your offers and see what you get.
Yeah. I think they feel like he's going to stay. And I don't think that they would have done the moves that they did in this offseason, like the Turner thing, if they didn't think he was going to stay.
They reportedly did it without telling him, though.
Yeah. But I would have to imagine they have some sort of, maybe there's a little bit more that they know than what we know, obviously, about where his head is at. And so I would have to imagine that they have an idea, because that if they're like doing it without telling him is one thing, but if you don't even know where his head is at, which is what it appears to be the case nationally with all the stuff that's come out, that's just flat out reckless. Like that's
the scary part for the Bucks and Bucks fans. If you did all that and you don't know if he's going to stay.
Yeah, that's reckless, man.
22.5 million of dead money, and then you got Miles Turner. Miguel noted, I did miss his super chat. Apologies, Miguel. Laker fan, I love hypothetical trades. What do you think of Ja and Edie for Bam and Davion Mitchell? I would not do that for the Miami side. And I like Zach Edey. I was high on Zach Edey out of the draft, but I would be worried about Ja in Miami. Dude's getting into trouble in Memphis. What's going to happen when you put him on South Beach?
Sure, I can agree with that. I think
like Pat Riley's going to kill him.
Yeah, you've got more of a short thing. It's weird because I think Ja is like maybe a little underrated now. But I still think that I would prefer to keep the Heat package in this, just because you don't have any of those questions. Ja's been dealing with health things and all the other stuff, unable to play on the court the last few years. Like you don't have all that. So, and Bam's great. So
yeah, I don't think the Heat want to move on from Bam. All right, everybody. Again, we appreciate all of you. Please make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Till next time, see ya and stay safe.